Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha Bean of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Lloyd. How are you?
I'm good. So usually I'm kind of changing things up a little bit because I'm starting a little series about kind of cancel culture, and it's been really weighing on my heart because not just
Yeah,
of recent events, but just in general. It's just been something that's been. I mean, I did a project a year ago about cancel culture that is coming out this year. And it's
always
something that I think
working.
a lot of people are feeling, this. And if we've been in this situation for a while, like that everybody has an opinion about something, and this opinion overrides this opinion, and they have feelings, and if this doesn't go, that way it doesn't work. So tell me, you're an actor, um, and a guy in this industry.
Right.
Have you experienced that at any
Mm.
point?
I don't think I've reached a high enough level to receive that kind of hate, if you will.
Mhm.
The thing that I usually tell people is that, and how I feel about cancel culture is when you when you operate in cancel culture, especially um, when you do it on the grounds of you just didn't like how someone acted, in a sense of, case in point, everyone's talking about the Will Smith slap, the infamous slap around the world. A lot of people are talking about canceling this man. And it's almost like in that moment, he had a mental lapse of judgment. That's like canceling a kid, saying you're not worthy of the attention you have because you lost your sense of grounding and your sense of moment and your sense of home training. If you, as like, folks say in Alabama, you ain't got no home training. It's sad because that man, Will Smith for 30 years was premier black elite industry. People slandered this man for years, talked about him, down played him, his wife, his children. For him to literally smile, greet everyone with a smile, and continue to pump out consistent good work. And then the one time he loses it, everyone's like, oh, forget it. Let's take away his Oscar. Let's do this. Was he wrong? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But let's all remember empathy is the number one thing in cancel culture that makes you less human because you lack simply the knowledge to understand that person's plea. They can easily still be wrong and easily still be punished. But chanting the words, cancel this person, what you're trying to do is, when you do that, is you're trying to cancel out any revenue he brings in. That's basically taking away his livelihood. If
Yeah.
anyone was to take away your livelihood, you would come for their life.
Hmm.
So I just tell anyone, like, when you start doing things like cancel this person, really think about what would happen if it were you. And
Right. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I don't think people think about that. I think we live in a society
Yeah,
that people are so quick to judge and point the finger at a situation, and they don't even
yeah,
know the man. We only know what we know from what they've shared with us or what the media
yeah.
portrays. It's not the full truth. And don't
Right.
get me wrong, yes. I mean, it's just what was mind blowing to me is that people just kind of were like, let's just, I mean, people who are fans of this man were like,
Like 24
I'm
hours
done.
prior, like, he's everything. And
And
then
then it's like, I'm done with him. Like, how dare,
right,
he's a bully. He beat this
right.
man on stage. I'm like, guys, choice of words does matter in the situation.
It
I mean,
really, really
and
does.
you know, I was shocked. You know, mainly it was people were like, I can't believe Denzel and Bradley Cooper consulted him, like just consoled him after his situation. I'm just like, no, we don't we don't know what they said. Just because obviously this is like a mental breakdown. Did we witness someone break down
Yeah, and it's not, and I don't,
or
I
snap?
would want to, yeah, I would want to be careful and say mental breakdown, because someone gets so angry that they literally, and in that moment, they see red, and we do it as regular people.
Right.
This man did it at the highest point of his career that he's worked tirelessly, mind you, for 35 years for this moment. And
Yeah.
in that moment, after, Gary Owen said it best when he explained to people, like, I'm friends with both. Definitely friends, but he says he's definitely more friends with Chris Rock, but he empathizes with Will because everyone slanders Jada consistently, and no one
Oh
knows
yeah.
what the conversations that she's personally dealing with
Right.
in their private life, in their home, in their bedroom, when he has to console her about what it felt like when she lost her hair. This is someone who, yeah, she didn't have a lot of hair, but it was more of a choice thing. She did at a lot of points had big, fluffy, beautiful, curly, natural hair. And then when she chose to cut it, that low cut really kept her booked. It kept her working. That was a look for Jada that kept her paid up. Now she's also not bringing it in like Will. And as a woman, a lot of women like to claim that their hair is their crown.
Yeah.
And to lose that, like, you don't know what that does to someone who covets something like that so much. And to know that you can do nothing about it just wilting away on your head. I mean, in my father's genes, my hair started to, recede and thin at 23. I just got back to college, when and all this, and I had curls. And literally my dad had to call me, and he was like, I saw the picture. He was like, I get it. I lost mine at 23. It's just in our genes. Your hair thins. And, it was long, it was curly, but it would never be that again. And it's one of them things that I can't change that. She can't change what it was. And people have been relentless in not only judging, but attacking even more ferociously Will Smith and Jada now more than ever.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like,
And it's bizarre to witness to see people's like hate, and
yeah,
it's so it's like you don't, it's like one strike you're out. It's not three strikes, it's like one strike. And especially being an African American man, to have, you can't forget that. I mean, it does play a part. And I hate, people say, why do you bring that up? Well, it's something that does
oh, it's a
matter, and
thing.
it is a
There's
thing.
no,
It still is a
uh,
thing.
as a black man, and I know a lot of people on your channel, if they see this, they don't know I am of mixed descent. Yes, and
Right, right.
but if you hear in my voice, if you were to see my father, you would understand completely. I mean, I've identified as black my entire life.
Mhm.
And when you're with a woman, especially a black woman, black women need to be protected because people obviously, look at the masses, openly attack Jada about this situation. And then the thing that kills me the most is when they be like, why he didn't smack August like that. And I said, first of all, August
We
even said
don't know
it.
where
He had
August
a
was.
conversation with Will. Now, mind you, when everyone found out, Will even said that situation was 4 years prior to the
Right,
entanglement conversation. So
right.
there's plenty of growth that has happened since. And
Yeah,
to be honest, August probably not telling nobody. Will probably could have smacked the shit out of August, but
I'm pretty
Will
sure.
as we know, Will is pretty tight-lipped on his personal stuff, and he's been that way. Even his mom was like, I've never seen him act like that. And, you know, those, unfortunately, Will was a powder keg in that situation. And on top of the internet and the world openly, just for their amusement, defamation of character on this man who they don't know is really shitting on this man's life. And to be honest, you want to do that to somebody on the street, especially if you don't know them. And Will Smith, nobody expected him to smack him. And I'm like, he's a public figure that the world knows as the Fresh Prince, the nice guy. He smiles, he writes books, he reads the dictionary daily. Like, he spits affirmations out, you know, jewels every day, like clockwork. His children are the same way. His wife has a show about like the enlightenment that they have, and you know, their family is in it. Like, they constantly try to better themselves. And I mean, if you think about it, name one group of people or one individual that claims enlightenment or that they're reaching for enlightenment that someone doesn't want to tear down.
Right, right, absolutely.
Right, and it's sad that he clearly had a misstep. Right. And we don't know the beef, if him and Chris Rock have any kind of beef. And if they don't, that's not our damn business.
Right. And society makes it seem like it's like the media plays this this thing of like, okay, like I was talking to somebody, a producer friend of mine, he's in Toronto this morning, and he was saying, we kind of weighed in on about the Will Smith, and he's like, he sent me a picture. He goes, what in the Will Smith was that? And I said, well, again, we don't know. We don't know Will. Again, these actors are paid to act. Do you really think we see the true them every day? We don't live with them. We don't know their story. We only know what they show us, a peek.
You have to understand, in order for them to keep, for actors, as an actor myself, you have to keep a piece of yourself untouched, untainted by the outside world. And what they're showing you isn't fake. It's really just what you need to see in order for them to keep moving normally. There's people who are talking bad about Will Smith who probably were arrested that same weekend for something way worse.
Right. And that part.
You got women out here sleeping with, you know, multiple men, lying, cheating, scandaling, or just, you know, at the end of the day, robbing a job. But they make their business to hop on social media, especially if they got a big following, troll Will. Now, the biggest heartache for me was to see people like Jim Carrey. Know Will Smith. Immediately the next day, shit all over this man.
That was crazy.
And Jim Carrey is one of my favorites from the Living Color days. 100%. My mom could tell you. I used to stay up late just to get the fire marshal bill from Jim Carrey. Let me say that, all that stuff. And for him to immediately the next morning,
that's crazy.
The Oscars was at night. The next morning, bro, he got a whole new press like set up at the house, or he even drove into the office. It was scheduled for him to have a conversation condemning this man who you've known for how many years. You know, I'm pretty sure you met. I don't know if they hung out personally, but to slander this man on national TV, and then I'm pretty sure you have a reason to get in contact with him. And this is Jim Carrey, who talks about mental health all the time, didn't even reach out to this man
at all.
Just on the human tip to be like, hey, bro, I know it was rough. I know I'm a comedian, but are you okay? Because at the end of the day, y'all still a part of that fraternity of actors. I'm not saying kiss ass. Will fucked up. He really
absolutely
did.
Absolutely. And I know, and Will knows he did. And I think Will,
you can see it in the speech, and a lot of people be like, oh, it's fake. Do you know what it's like to slap somebody and to know that you fucked up a
Yeah, oh,
moment that
yeah.
you worked 35 years for, and all he could
And
do for him in that moment is to stand and just process, and at the same time accept it. Yes, he's accepting an award, but nobody stopped to care to see how he felt. Now, righteously so. Everyone's mad that everyone came to Will Smith's defense. Chris Rock, on the other hand,
handle
was
it
a
great.
trooper, was
Great
an
job.
absolute trooper, because not
I
just
think
for
because
the
he
fact
also
that he
knows
took
Will.
it. Exactly. Not because of the fact that he took it and he kept the show. We now bring up the fact that Chris Rock talks about like how he did a bully once, where somebody bullied him and he put a brick in his backpack and beat the shit out of dude.
Right.
What we got to pull back from that and also process is Will Packer, the producer of the show, got on air the next day as well and said, the minute Rock got off stage, he said, don't send them out here. Now, I have to believe that Chris Rock understood what that moment would be if he called the police. The fact that the police were there,
that would have
and
been
ready to
a
arm
major
escort Will, or if Will refused, that they would have detained him. And they know on national TV,
that wouldn't look good.
They was not going to detain him in the nice way.
Yeah, that wouldn't look good. And then that would make people think, yeah, well, okay,
And I applaud
police.
Chris Rock for handling that in a
same.
much bigger way. Because if it would have been anybody else on the street, we know it, and people laugh. But I'm like, people have died for that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
100%.
to be honest, people in Chris Rock position have died for talking about somebody's wife. At the end of the day, we got to understand, some people really don't play about their family. Now, Will has let 20 years of you talking about his kids, his wife, his family, and he has let it slide. But there was something about what Chris Rock said, how he looked, whatever that registered to Will, that caught something. Now, even beyond the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing, the cancel culture, it feeds that energy that Will Smith felt. And it feeds into the ideology of, when everyone attacks this person for a mistake, it obviously was a mistake.
Of course. I mean, he said it himself. I mean, he said he started at the academy.
Yeah. And everyone's
and I think even
because,
Chris.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think even Chris knew that was out of Will's character, you know, because if you know someone, quote unquote, and you've known them for that long, and you work together, you have some 27 odd years of time between you. And I'm so sorry, but I don't believe the thing of
almost 30 years.
Thank you. So I personally, and Chris Rock did a documentary about Black hair and all this stuff. So I personally, as a Black man, if I was Chris, I would not have said that particular joke to address the baldness of her hair, because who wants to be bald? I don't. She's never had that kind of cut. You know what I'm saying? As a woman,
respectfully,
she's never had that kind of cut. Yeah, that low before. She's had low cuts, but she's had hair in her cuts. I've seen her. I've followed her. She's never had that short ever. And that was just because there were patches, her hair was coming out, and I would follow her vlog, and she talked about it, and she laughed about it on a story. And it's just her way to process it and dealing with it. Of course, it's not cancer. People say, well, it's not cancer. It's not leukemia. I get it. But again,
and that's disrespectful.
What here, it goes back to cancel culture. The things that we're saying this is okay to be and not to be okay about. Well, if it's not cancer, then you shouldn't be mad about this. It's like, who's to say what is we should be upset about, or the level of upset about something that I'm going through? Does that make sense? And it kind of now we
that's like saying, I'm gonna go to work, but my mom's diagnosed with, she's in stage 5 renal failure. Oh yeah, well, that doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? You still should have been at work. I'm gonna want to smack the shit out of you too.
Right, exactly.
So
you know what I'm saying? So there's that. So then then there's things that doesn't line up too, because then if that's the case with, there we go, empathy. If that's the case about Will, then there should be things about other people that things happen. Might not happen on a big scale on the Oscars, the most important night of the world or whatever.
of the
and
industry. It's not
then
the most important
of
night
the
of the world.
industry,
Yeah, it's a war going on,
prestigious
and
people.
everyone's giving all the energy to Will and Chris. There's literally a fucking war happening. And as
Yeah,
I'm sorry, as
exactly.
Black people, we need to understand what it's like a group of people being infringed upon their freedom and rights. Pay more
Right.
attention to that. The only reason why everyone's
Right.
talking about this Will Smith and Chris Rock thing is because no one's willing to let it the fuck go.
Thank
And I
you.
know
Thank
that's
you.
crazy for me to say it because I'm the one that paralleled it in this conversation, but I
No, but
used
this is
it.
good for cancel
Yeah,
culture. This is
yeah,
literally the epitome of what we're talking about, of
right.
what we should. It's like, okay, Hollywood,
We got to
or not
figure
just
that out.
Hollywood, the industry dictates how we think, feel, say, what we dress like, what we
Right,
should. I mean, it's like literally like, okay, so today, care about COVID. Okay, next month we're gonna have this, and so now this is the problem. This is the thing that you're gonna care
right.
about, not what's still here or the war that's happening. Let's not care about that, but let's care about a slap. You know what I'm saying? And then it
And
just
people get
becomes
slapped every day.
this. Exactly my point. And then it becomes, so that's what I'm saying. If that's what we're gonna be going, is this what our world is leading to and going to,
Right.
then the rest of accountability for everyone who's messed up. Mel Gibson did an interview, and the guy asked him, the guy had the nerve to ask Mel Gibson, what do you think about, Will, and do you think that, he's like, you're pretty much know about being the bad guy. And Mel Gibson was like smiling nervously because he knows, what can I say? My business was out there. I
Yeah, he was
almost
like,
beat
I
my
don't do it.
wife
He's
to
like,
death.
you're not gonna catch me in this. And
Yeah.
that's a problem I personally feel. That's one thing of nobody cancels Black people in this world quicker than Black people. Period.
Thank you. That's another
Period.
problem
We got to be
with
better. We
our
do.
community.
And it's gonna
How?
take time, but we got to be willing to work. We really got to do that work with us. I
Yes,
still
it
got to
starts
catch
with
myself and be
us.
like, yo, stop.
Mhm.
You gotta talk to yourself and be like, bro, stop. Like you knew you was out
Yeah,
of pocket for that. You gotta check in, man. And that
you
just goes
do.
into another mental health thing. We all have that problem. It's real easy to call out other people on their bullshit when
And
you
not your
doing
own.
bullshit yourself because it deflects the energy. And at the end of the day, we all been to church, especially if you Black and from the South. Don't throw no stone. Because damn near
Absolutely.
everybody with social media, everybody lives in a glass house. You better quit playing.
Right.
You better
And
quit
that's
playing.
why, and I think for me, that's what I've been noticing, is that like people are saying, how can you have sympathy for someone who, I mean, I had my uncle, murdered my grandfather. Okay. And my uncles and aunts, they forgave him. That's the power of forgiveness. I mean, the guy didn't murder anybody, but it's not like we haven't ever seen anybody get slapped in a bar or beaten on the side of the street,
At
that
church,
actually,
funerals, yeah, things
you
happen.
know, things happen. So our thing is to, and like, even in the industry, the suicide rates are crazy. You're like, well, all these people have
Man.
money, fame, everything you could ever imagine and have. Well, why do they just take their own life? Because it's unhealthy, and it's a toxic. Like, we're in the industry breeds it.
It's not,
It's
I don't think it's
sick.
necessarily the industry. It's people don't get it. All those comments. That man is listening to y'all bash him, his wife, and his children for 20 some years. What's the name of what is her name? The former Miss America or Universe?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
she committed, like,
Took her
come
own
on.
life. Took her
Y'all,
own
these
life.
are people who are making money, who are Black people in the higher percentage of tax brackets, and we complain there's not enough of us. And literally the main reason that are driving us to go crazy is listening to the other
Right.
people who are not there, who are literally shitting on your life. And I don't
Right.
care what level you are, what tax bracket. No one likes people consistently talking shit about them. And the
At
fact
all.
that they make that much money does not give you free range to talk shit. Because I'll
Right.
guarantee you this, if they weren't at the Oscars and they were out in public and they smacked the shit out you just, oh my God, you won't want that shit to be on TV. None of y'all want to be Chris Rock.
Of
All
course.
these comedians are now trying to come at Will, which I get it. They're defending Chris. But
I get it.
chances are, 9 times out of 10, at the end of the day, you don't know that man's life. The one thing you know, he from West Philly. You catch anybody from the hood, bro, and you catch them in the street and you talk about their wife, they're going to knock the shit out you. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson, you wouldn't dare. You wouldn't dare do it. You wouldn't make no joke about his nobody daughter coming up missing around Mike Tyson because he ain't got her no more. He gonna be quiet and he gonna start crying. And then 5 minutes later, we're gonna be like, what happened to Drew? Mike Tyson fucking murdered him. Because you don't know what they're dealing with.
Absolutely.
And it's our responsibility to us, not individually and our peers, to be empathetic. We're human.
Absolutely.
We are.
That's it. That's it.
Cancel culture, it breeds toxicity. And it's not just
so toxic.
And everyone loves to be like, oh, he's a toxic masculinity. Oh, it's toxic females too, boo. And
oh my gosh, yes.
The same ones being like, oh, it's toxic masculinity. Y'all the same ones that tell a dude it's okay to smack me in the face. I want it. Please, daddy, give me some more. All these things matter. So be careful.
Yeah.
There's a balance to everything. And he has consistently gotten a barrage of shit talk. And most of the people are shit talking him about choices that his wife made, when at the time he is clearly specifically named
stated
that they
were not together. Exactly. And people keep
if
saying
they weren't together and he
that they
was
were together.
Okay with August, we don't know what Jada had to deal with, what he was doing.
Absolutely, we don't know. And it's like,
we don't know.
Again, there's two sides to every story. You know what I'm saying? There's two, and
that's August's fault, clearly. It is.
And it's also too, it's like you said the industry, you don't think it's the industry that's toxic. I think it is because it's the people in it. Yes, it's the people that control the narrative. I mean, but Hollywood was never actually meant. It's almost like, okay, you have your those crazy mindless shows that people watch, those Desperate House, whatever you call those shows that House of Atlanta, Texas, whatever, and I'm not getting in, but what I'm saying is enough, whatever you digest and put inside of you, you're going to either emulate or you're going to become that. It feeds it. And then because the industry knows what they're doing, it's about money. It's not about your soul. It's not about your well-being. So
marketing is money.
Marketing is money. And you have to control what you put inside of you, your mind, especially us as creators. We are in this business and we have to always remember to disconnect and keep this mind and our spirit right and fed with the right things, because it's that too. We have
to disconnect to keep that. If we're empathetic to people, that's what real people and real stories needs empathy. That's what make people feel. Like King Richard, what he was nominated for.
Fantastic.
You can't tell me that when, even in the trailer, when he hits you with that, you're literally about to do something, like you about to represent every little black girl in America. That's a heavy weighted statement to tell your kid. But just imagine being a dad who, even earlier in the film, he literally had to he was defending his daughter for some hood cats trying to push up on her and talk that slick stuff. And we know how that was going to turn out. We can play that picture and be like, oh, maybe he wanted to take her out, be nice. Nah, bro. Come on. Right. You know what that is. Don't play with that. He was protecting his kid, and he easily could have fought. But what he wanted to do, he knew they could have killed him. So he took that ass whooping. But he did it in defense. So I get what he meant, like a defender, but
Yeah, I get that.
what happened, nobody saw that, because in his mind, that switch was flicked when Chris said that. Not even when Chris said it.
I think when Jada looked at him, and he kind of and think about all the stuff that they're dealing with in their marriage and the things that they're going through.
The minute he saw it, and then
that's
the thing.
Okay.
We saw that eye roll. We did. Eye roll, but we went back to Chris Rock. We never saw what discussed. Everyone what she said. Like, oh, Jay, and what kills me, people love this narrative of Jada said, that's why I cheated, because you can't defend me. Like, come on, bro.
No.
Like,
but I'm sure those things that do cross your mind. Right. Right.
Y'all slandering a black woman, and everybody love protect our black queens. Y'all
be the ones that sell us down the
dragging this lady. And to be honest, she said not one word that we heard or saw. And yet there's no proof of her saying anything. And y'all are dragging this lady.
Yeah, they are.
For all we know, she said not one syllable. Mm-hmm. All she did was look. And that's her damn husband.
Yeah, it's a husband.
What the fuck do you think he's gonna do? If I am married and I see my wife vexed
clearly hurt
by something a man said, I can say a multitude of things. Now, smacking them, I ain't gonna lie. Hey,
right.
It really depends on where you are as an individual in that moment. Was he right about smacking Chris Rock? No.
Of course not.
It's not condoned. Hitting technically should not be condoned. But when you're a person that are used to in certain situations, or when you're fed up, there's plenty of songs about when a woman's fed up. Women have torched. Come on, Angela Bassett. Women love that. she that's destruction of property. Right, but because his actions, she felt like, oh, I'm right. I helped him get the money to pay for all this. I'm gonna set it on fire.
Right.
Now, they would have been like, oh, he wrong for suing her. Technically, he's not. That's destruction of property.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now,
and again, and it's the media that put that movie out, right?
It is, man. And that's the point. And
so
it's a point of view. Yeah,
it's like the same people that will give. We picking. That's exactly what I said. So it's it boils down to, that's what cancel culture is that we pick and choose what's right, what's wrong. When everything, if we're going to want to be fair across the board, everybody got to be held accountable.
We're going to be that. Yeah. Like, and
you know what I'm saying?
Mad, and everyone's mad. Will didn't leave. Chris Rock told him, let him stay.
Yeah.
So if you want to be mad that Chris didn't leave, talk to Chris Rock.
Right.
And then Jim Carrey is, oh, I'm mad, and I'm mad that I'm sick that they applauded that man. They're not applauding the slap, Jim.
No, they're applauding his
work that man did. Now, our biggest thing is we have a hard time separating art from the individual. There's plenty of people that have done some real foul shit in life.
And that are still working.
And we know about it. Shit, to be honest, half of them we related to. Half of them we related to. But we still celebrate their wins.
That's true.
We still celebrate their wins. Why? Because we seen the work that they've done to get there. It doesn't one mistake should not negate someone's lifespan of work.
Right. Did Harvey ever get prison time?
They want to say that he's served. I don't believe he's in. If he's in prison, we know he's not in prison that my kinfolk in. We know he ain't. We know he's not.
And he's not the only.
His name would be Helena right now. His name would be Helen. It wouldn't be no damn Harvey.
Right.
We know we know what it is.
Yeah.
Yo, we gotta quit bastardizing people for mistakes.
There we go.
Like, for real.
God forbid you make some. God forbid you make some.
Read a book. There's an author that I read often. This is a new book, Shaka Senghor.
Mm-hmm.
This man is a brother from Detroit. He served 17 years on the inside, 7 in solitary. He spent that whole time reading and writing and really trying to better himself. And there's a lot of people who would not have given this man a job outside. And when you do people like, again, that leads into a whole nother ideology of like prison reform in general. And I feel like that starts on our level in the sense of we got to stop damning people for mistakes.
Right.
Some mistakes I can agree. Some people just will not accept. Murder, things happen. Some people do it in cold blood. In that situation, I get it if you give someone a life sentence. But there's people who have been incarcerated for speeding tickets and then try to defend their life in lockup, and because they end up killing somebody, now has to serve real time. Why is someone who's serving time for parking tickets in there with people who rape and murder people?
Right. Yeah.
That again, system we gotta fix. That's the government. We love to blame them for their unfair damnation, but we don't damn ourselves. We are causing more mental health instability by cancel culture. We are. Of
course. 100%.
You gotta allow people room to grow. Bottom line, we won't be better if our peers and the people surrounding us don't lift us up in a sense of, I'm not saying hold my hand because I don't know y'all. But if I mess up, give me an opportunity to redeem.
Right.
Give me a chance at redemption, because that's the human thing. And unfortunately, Black people, we love to bring up the Bible, but we the first motherfuckers to damn and throw stones. We gotta be better.
Yeah. It definitely starts with, and in our culture too, definitely we have to have more of a case to come. I think men and women, that the communication is just off.
And a lot of people, communication ain't off. Communication, let's say communication is off. Let's ride that. It's only off because we choose to pick and choose what we want to listen to and what's right for us. Case in point, what seemed good to you at 24 as the right thing, give it 20 years. Case in point.
But our role models that we have, it goes, we look at, like, I'm not saying to look at Will of those public figures and hold them so high, and I talk to a lot of people that are like, I looked at him like this. I'm like, you should never look at anyone that high up, only God, because we're flawed. We're gonna know what I'm saying?
Come on.
So we're gonna let down. Yeah.
Right. If that's a known thing, we're flawed, right? You said it best. We're flawed. When someone messes up, the minute you damn them, I love this saying. My best friend says it all the time to anyone. He owns like multiple businesses, him and his wife. And he says it to me, and he says it to other people. And anytime you try to come down on anyone, being like, you're wrong, this is out of pocket, I think you deserve this. He says this thing often, and his dad says it, and I've heard it since I was a kid by older cats, because my dad wasn't around. So a lot of old heads used to tell me, keep living. Especially like kids who don't have dads. Mom, my daddy ain't shit, da-da-da this, and my mama said da-da-da-da, and all they say is keep living. Because what we do is we feel like we know what's good for us because it's good right now.
Right.
What about long term? Like these decisions, y'all are making decisions because you upset or you're disappointed in Will Smith right now. That could cause him harm down the line. Now just imagine for a moment that you are Will Smith. What happens when you go to bed, when you fuck up and you wake up And now you see all this money you built up over 35 years, you're losing it. For one mistake. One mistake. You think, and that it's a mistake. Nobody died. Some pride was hurt. Some pride was
nobody
hurt.
was raped.
Nobody was
You know
raped.
what I'm saying?
Nobody was murdered. Nobody was maimed. He slapped somebody, which is out of pocket.
Yeah,
But
it's definitely out of, yeah, for sure.
It's literally a mistake. And then Chris Rock chose not to retaliate, which is the bigger move. And again, these are two men damn near 60.
Yeah.
Two grown ass.
They don't think now, like they were in their 20s like that. So they're not going to be like petty and say, get him arrested. He probably had to think about, okay, you know what?
Right.
He's going through something.
And that's the point. When you see pictures of Denzel, Tyler, and Bradley talking to Will, it's tears in his eyes. Because a black man can only get so high before you're now terrified that I have to be even more perfect, because the minute I make one mistake, I am fucked.
Pretty much. That's what we've seen through history of time.
Look, there's guys that have raped people. They have manipulated girls into a system of being passed down through the industry. Harvey Weinstein. There's the Andy Dick situation. There's Kevin Spacey.
There's so many.
Ain't none of them in jail. They didn't lose no Oscars. They didn't get kicked out. They didn't even get kicked out of the fucking Academy.
That part. And that's the part that
if
blows
Harvey
my
did,
mind.
I think I heard somewhere that someone said Harvey may have. So anyone who's watching, if you want a soundbite, don't do that, because I'm not positive. But as far as I personally know, no one got kicked out of the Academy. And
what about that guy that married his goddaughter or
100%
his kid? What's his name? He's still making films.
He's still making films.
Still make films. No one kicked him out. No one said it's weird. But it goes back to even the Me Too movement of when the women came out in Hollywood. They had all the women wear black and says, we're gonna stand up against this act. No. And Oprah comes up and she gives a really great speech. Great job. Everything was so beautiful that moment. And then it's like the next day you go back to the same men that that are doing it, and you're working with them. And it's like, so you're part of the problem.
Yeah, you're enabling. It's just like when you have a relative or somebody in NA or AA. You can sit here and be like, oh my God, you're wrong. But then turn around and you see them drinking and be like, that's an act of enabling. Like, you're letting them do it. And if you're going to let them do it, you need to remove yourself. Because that's how you teach what you tolerate. You teach what you tolerate. Now, obviously, we're not tolerating anyone hitting anyone.
Absolutely.
Especially at the Oscars, because it's literally the epitome of like excellence in our industry. In the film industry, that is the biggest show. Just like in London, it's the BAFTAs.
Right.
Sorry about that. It's not tolerated. Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of, that's a reminder, in 30 minutes, if, you guys want to watch, Username drops at 6:00.
6:00. Yeah.
Right, 6:00 on Goldpiece Films. Check out link in the bio of Instagram. Yeah, go to YouTube, man.
Share it.
Yeah, share it. We'll be putting out more. Please. I definitely look forward to working more with this beautiful sister. I look forward to it, man. My love.
Ditto. Thank you for coming on and talking. And this is episode 1. So thank you so much for coming on and talking and sharing.
If you ask, I'm gonna do it. Period.
Oh,
like these folks don't know. Like, we're talking about cancel culture, but if you don't know, I've known Meosha Bean since 2015, 16, maybe even 14. When was Tony Patterson? When was that? Yeah, that's an archive.
I want to say that's about that time. You're about right, I think.
Oh yeah. We're solid 8, 9 in. Like,
wow.
We're solid 8, 9 in. And on top of it being 8 or 9 years, we have consistently teamed up, worked together. There's things that you haven't even released because we haven't got a chance to finish them because we don't live in the same city. Me and Meosha, even username, for instance, quick tidbit on that project. It was Meosha's birthday. We were hanging
don't tell
out.
him don't tell him everything. I gotta have a good.
I got you. We were hanging out.
He's gonna tell him what happened, guys. Oh no.
No, we're good. We were hanging out, and it's like 2, 3 in the morning, and we were me, you, and Omar, my roommate, and we said, "Yo, let's shoot a project." And you were like, "I'm down. Let's go. We're in it." You know what I'm saying? We had a great night.
It was
party for you, celebrated you for your birthday, and I personally, I was a little bit saucy, and when I get saucy, I'm down to create. Like if I'm down to brainstorm when I'm saucy because my mind's moving. So
right,
I was
right.
like, yo, I got an idea. Let's run it. And Meosha was like, yeah, sure. All right, I'm down. We're up. Let's do it. Omar was like, yeah, I'm in too. He sauced up, and like 2.5 hours. Like 30 minutes later, I sketched up on like a napkin or something, like the story.
Yeah, it was wild.
And I was like, let's use this. Let's pan in here. And 30 minutes after that, we started shooting. Meosha was leading, and it was like a creative, fun moment that I personally cherish and will cherish, because I mean, it's hard to be around people who ignite your creativity.
Yes.
And not just hear it. And like, we don't play each other off. Matter of fact, when you came to Atlanta, we shot 3 shorts. We shot 3 pieces.
Oh, I remember that
like
time.
5 hours. And we was like, oh, let's go outside. Let's do this. All right.
Let's do this. Yeah, that's when I was in LA. Yeah, I remember that.
And
that was
you
fun.
guys are going to see one of those as well. And it's like, it's
always
rare
love.
to find. Yeah, it's rare to find someone who, because you're so excited about what your creativity is, all they want to do is add.
Aww.
All they want to do is add, and they want to feed. Again, going back to what you said, only deal with people or imagery or books or topics that you consume on a daily basis. Food,
right.
Literature, films that feed you.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to do that is, even when you make mistakes, man, they say like, all right, that's a mistake, let's deal with it. Like on a film set, all right, that didn't work out. We can't do that
now
again.
We know.
now we know we can't do that again. Let's move on and let's be better.
That's it.
And it's really like mistakes. I think that's the reason why me and you will always stay click tight, and why I enjoy your energy, your presence, your space so much. And why even by you inviting me on this show, why it was so easy, because I love you as a person, spiritually, your energy, your creativity. I just love you as a person. And like, we've already talked about this, I'm down anytime you link up. You were like, Drew, I'm going to Germany and we're gonna I want to film.
Let's go.
Like, give me dates. I would love to go.
If we're doing that, I'll make sure I'll get your ticket.
Yeah, let's just make sure that it's a good trip.
I got you.
Like, let me
definitely
help you.
I appreciate that.
She does the same for me, and it's rare to have that. And again, even when there's things that go wrong, like COVID, and a lot of things happened, and it shifted our trajectories on not just being close. I had to leave LA, but just in what you were doing individually, what I was doing individually. And like the first thing you said to me, you was like, you got this, babe. Like you was like, hey, like you're gonna pull out. You just take your time, rebuild what you got to do.
And you did it.
You know what I'm saying? It's a hiccup. It happens. I remember you said this. You were at your parents, like you literally was like, it happens. You just got to reevaluate. And once you figure it out, do that. Nothing else matters.
You did it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the thing. And Thank you. Thank you. And I think it goes back to, like you said, within the industry. Like, if we make a mistake, I can be redeemed. I can fix that.
Yeah. If I
Anything.
make a
If you
mistake, there,
fall and hit a pit stop in your
yeah,
life, you can, you're reevaluating, because sometimes you need those lows to appreciate the highs. If you have too many highs, you're not going to ever appreciate anything or learn anything.
facts.
So it's
Again,
really
keep
important.
living. It goes to that.
That's
Keep
it.
living. And matter of fact, we
That-
can even do one
That's
better.
it.
Let's go to a movie that obviously a lot of people love. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't fault people for their problems. Peter was going to send them back so they can die. And Aunt May,
Yeah.
with great power comes great responsibility.
Responsibility. That's it.
100%. That's not what we do. Everyone deserves a chance. Everyone does. I don't care who it is. Now,
Yep.
there's been time you'll smack and fight your brother and sister. That don't make you love them no less.
Right.
You'll go to war. You'll go to war for them still.
Right.
But you're going to condemn this man who that obviously is someone who knows their family personally. They've been in the game together for so many years. Now, I know that, they've had their issues, but we got to do better with each other. Don't
And
cancel out because one thing happens. Literally, if you think about it, that's one thing that you can be like, Will Smith should not have done that, because y'all celebrated him when the dude tried to kiss him on the red carpet and he backhanded him. He from Philly. What you thought it was going to be?
Yeah. Yeah, I think people just have to realize, don't believe everything you see, or don't think the person is what they are in these movies. People they're humans. They have real lives. They go through real things, and like with anything. So just like you said, just be more kind. Show empathy.
Be kind.
That's all it is really at the end of the day.
Agree.
But again, thank you.
Memes about Jada being bald, y'all.
I know, right? Stop that.
I saw one today where somebody literally put Will Smith crying and Jada on the Chia Pet box. And I'm like, ridiculous. Fam, let that would have been your mama. You would have been smacking folks too. Don't play like that.
Of course.
You don't know how many, like, alopecia aside, alopecia ain't the only thing that you can lose your hair for.
Yeah, and whatever that is, like, if I was overweight and somebody talks about my weight and said a fat joke, I'm gonna feel some type of way.
Yeah, so, and if your husband smacked them, I'm gonna ride with my husband because, like, that's my husband. Yeah. Right. Like, if somebody talked about me and I'm in a state where I ain't doing nothing, and my wife went off and was like, "Yeah, you ain't gonna do it, bro. You're not finna make me. I'm not finna go against my wife. She defending me, right? So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be like, babe, I appreciate you. Let me do it. Let me handle it. All right, dude. While my wife was mad at you, you had said some real out of pocket stuff. Right. Now talk that shit. Right. I'm here now. And see, at the end of the day, it's like, come on, bro. Like, as a man, we all have lines. And sometimes people don't know that they cross what your line is. Of course. Yeah. And I get you're a comedian. I get it. But also, you got to also understand, sometimes you say there's hecklers. You can't stop a heckler from saying, you suck. You got to know that's you talking about that man's wife. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to go there with some people, you can't expect every reaction to be that reaction. Everybody's different, and I get it. I get it. And I'm pretty sure, I believe with my whole heart that Will Smith, I mean, think about it, man. Like, literally not even a year ago, he did stand up for the first time with Dave Chappelle and them. Like, I know he gets it. Yeah, of course. Give that man leeway. He knows too many comedians. Yep. I mean, the man is a legend. He hangs out with Chappelle, Eddie Murphy. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Like, I know he gets it. And I know he understands that he fucked up. I'm just asking that people, not just Will, not just Jada, not anybody, quit trying to cancel folks, bro, for one mistake. Yes, I agree. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. All right, so absolutely. With that being said, I'm done. I want y'all to know that I love y'all, because I know some of y'all probably talking shit about me now. But you know what? You know what I'm saying? You can't knock my mood off right now. I love y'all, and I love Meosha. I love you. And I want you to
Thank
take
you
care
for
of
coming on.
yourself.
I appreciate you coming
I
on.
I appreciate like hell you having me on. I feel honored.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
All
I
right.
appreciate because I really like your perspective on cancel culture, and I think this is something that everyone needs to hear, it needs to be heard and shared. So thank you so much again, and also guys, make sure you go to Goldpiece Films YouTube channel today. The short film is dropping today. You don't want to miss it. It's gonna be great. Subscribe, comment, like all those
Right.
things, and again, thank you. And thank you guys for listening. Until next time, always remember to live, love, laugh. Bye, guys.